Hello, this is Donna Smith, and here I sit in our office and where we kind of store you can see all of Larry's sporting goods stuff. And right behind me, right over there, is a beautiful etching of my late Kitty Gemma, who I lost just recently in February, and I loved her, loved her so much and deep into my heart. So I keep that there. We've got a little bit of an America banner there you can see. Anyway, that's not why I'm doing this video. I'm doing this video this morning to invite you and really ask you, please, to attend the PDA Town Hall this afternoon. It starts at 2 o'clock Mountain, which would mean 1 o'clock for those of you in California, and 3 o'clock for friends in Chicago, and 4 o'clock for friends in DC or New York or anybody in the East. Please join. We're having a call today to talk about a little bit about patriotism in a way that we think about it. But what I'm going to talk to you about and why I need you on this call in a big way is because you'll always notice on the PDA calls that they're heavily populated with men and their voices. It's the way it is in unfortunately in some of the progressive political organizations, that even those like ours that totally believe in that every person is created equal, not just every man, that every person in on the planet is created equal. So that's I need you there, because sometimes the male voices telling us that it can be overwhelming when female and other voices are left out. And it's not always intentional. Sometimes I think the lack of intention is almost scarier, in a way that it's just expected that the men will have the intellectual upper hand. They will know what the right thing is to do. They will know the history. They will know the economics. They will know all of that and share it all with us just for the asking. And I don't know that that's bad. I'm a history major. I was a history major in college and graduated Phi Beta Kappa and cum laude. So I'm not a fool about historical things. In fact, American history was my area. So one would think that my voice would be semi important in all of this. So let me give you an example. We had a call this week that was a little different. It wasn't for Progressive Democrats of America, which, by the way, is not only for Democrats, it's for anybody who believes in progress. That's what progressive means, progress. But we had a call this past week that was a kind of a gala, a virtual gala to help fundraise for a couple of organizations, the Center for Common Good that Andrea Miller has worked so hard on. Andrea Miller's a wonderful friend to PDA, and the Tim Carpenter Institute, which does a lot of research and a lot of work in the name of PDA's founder, Tim Carpenter, who passed away much too early from his cancer. The Tim Carpenter Institute and the Center for Common Good are both 501(c)(3)s. So they partnered to do this wonderful event in which they celebrated both organizations and the work they're doing, but also really warned us all about what's going on right now and what's yet to come for us. So it was a really good call. But what was really hurtful and illustrative during the call was that we talked about Tim Carpenter as the kind of the founding executive director, the guy who kept it going in its early years enough so we could take hold. We talked about Tim. We talked with reverence about Connor Boylan, who took over. Connor was Tim's right hand guy for a while. Connor is Irish, a wonderful, wonderful man who stepped away eventually from PDA. I think he just wanted to have a life and a family and do what he needed to do. So, love to Connor. And then They skipped right on to Alan. Connor, Alan. The problem is there was somebody in between there. From late 2015 until sometime in about right about the time the pandemic was really taking hold. I was the executive director, Donna Smith. I was the ED of PDA. I don't claim that I did anything real magnificent, aside from I'm going to claim one real big victory here. But we did travel all over the place, all over the place. Steve Cobble and Connor traveled to Alaska. I went to Hawaii. Our joke was that if they got to go to Alaska, then I got to take the PDA banner to Hawaii, which I did. And we went all over the country, all of us, really pushing for Bernie in 2016 in a great big way. But I was the executive director. I was the one who helped make the decisions about how the money would flow. I was the one who helped push for Keith Ellison to be the DNC chair. And Keith was on this call this past week that I was absent from in memory. I was actually there, but no one acknowledged it. And I think it was more than just a personal affront to me, which it was, make no doubt. It was an affront to me. I was hurt and annoyed, and not so much offended, just annoyed. And then when I thought about it, I thought, well, that kind of fits with the way things go that women, our work, our contributions, our fight, our give up, everything gets discounted as stuff that women do. Or, there she is, that older woman. We don't really want to claim her, do we? I don't think it's that overt. I really don't. I think it's so systemic that women's contributions are devalued unless and until they need that face of a female. They need that voice of a female because they don't want to appear like they're leaving us out of anything, right? Or like they're somehow quietly sexist because they still have to be very intentional. That's a weird word. Intentionable. They have to be very intentional about including us. They still have to think about it. If they didn't have to think about it, that notice this week, talking about American history and what was going on, might be a little different, right? Maybe Harvey J. Kaye's face wouldn't be the only face on the announcement. I like Harvey J. Kaye. I think he's a brilliant historian. I but you know what? I ain't so bad either. And I did a hell of a lot for the organization. So I need my friends. I need those who believe women's rights matter just as much. I want those who believe women's contributions of time, of energy, of personal relationships. I gave up so many personal relationships. People who were personally close to me distanced themselves. They're ashamed of me, afraid I'll say something. God forbid I'll say something that'll sound like one of those people. So, guess what? Friends sometimes distance themselves. And here's my extended family for whom I worked so hard for so long. They don't distance themselves, they just find a way to forget. So, PDA friends, Donna's friends, show up. I'm asking you to give a few minutes, just a few minutes. You don't have to stay on the whole call. They go on way too long. The guys all got to have their say, right? And you'll watch, you'll listen. The guys will get to go a little longer and their points will be good. The women will be patted on the head. Oh, what a wonderful point. But we have a lot of people to speak here and we need to move along here. Thank you for your point. But we're going to move along here. You watch and listen. You don't have to listen long into the Q&A to figure that out, right? And yeah, there are more men on the calls, but there's also a reason for that. Women, we aren't going to waste our time being on a call if we're going to be the ones shuffled to the back again, and always. And just because that's acceptable in Trump's world doesn't mean it's acceptable in mine, and nor should it be in yours. So please join us. I'll hope to see you. I'm sorry to be ranting. I'm going to rant a little on the call, a little about this issue, but maybe a little about some other issues. And hope to see you. Thanks for listening. Bye.